Hello everyone! I recently covered the roguelike games releasing in 2025, and now it's time to look ahead. If you thought 2025 had some great roguelikes, wait until you see what's coming in 2026. And today, I'll show you 20 new upcoming roguelike games you should be excited for in 2026. Well, let's get into the list. Morbid Metal is a super fast third-person action roguelite made by Screen Juice and published by Ubisoft. The moment you see the game, you'll notice the speed. You're sliding around, slashing through enemies, and chaining combos like a futuristic hack and slash game. It honestly reminds me of Devil May Cry mixed with Platinum Games' crazy stylish combat. And here's the cool part, you don't just play one character. You can bring up to 4 different warriors into a run and swap between them instantly in battle. In the demo, you get 2, Flux and Eku. Flux is fast and dodgy, while Eku hits harder but slower. Switching between them mid-fight feels great and adds a lot of strategy. Rogue Soulstone is a fast, physics-based action roguelite RPG where you jump into battle, cast crazy spells, create powerful combos, wipe out huge waves of enemies, fight giant bosses, and of course, die, upgrade, and jump right back in with a brand new build. This game is made for people who love roguelikes. And the best part? There are tons of possibilities. Every run is different. Maybe you go full warlock and let enemies rot behind you, or maybe you play a barbarian who pulls everything in and smashes them to pieces. You can even build a tank that throws meteors while the entire environment breaks apart around you. Wanderburg is basically Howl's moving castle turned into a roguelike where you battle other castles on wheels. Wanderburg is made by a tiny 3-person studio from Germany, and the idea is super unique. You're a castle on wheels with a huge mouth, and anything you eat gives you gold. That gold lets you upgrade your castle with all kinds of crazy weapons, cannons, crossbows, wizard towers, flamethrowers, even giant spider legs. And what do you do with all that? You go around hunting other castles and peaceful little villages across this simple, clean-looking world. Each time you beat a big enemy, your castle gets bigger and scarier, starting from a tiny tower and turning into a huge fortress covered in weapons and actual metal teeth. Fleapit is a wild musical roguelike with chaotic anime energy. Imagine a mix of rhythm gameplay, dungeon crawling, roguelike action, and even a bit of dating sim chaos. You play as this nervous-looking guy who ends up in the afterlife too early. The people running the place are a bunch of dangerous and extremely chaotic women who don't care about morals or sanity. They slap a talking necktie onto your chest and toss you into deadly dungeons to fight for your life. And these women? Yeah, they're also the characters you date. The combat works on rhythm, move, and attack to the beat, just like in games inspired by Crypt of the Necrodancer. Enemies move on the beat too, so you dodge attacks, find upgrades, and try to survive until the boss at the end. Kriegsfront Tactics is set in an alternate 1970s where mechs change the course of a Southeast Asian war. It's a turn-based tactics RPG roguelite, and you lead a mech squad deep behind enemy lines. This game takes the classic tactical style of XCOM and Front Mission, but puts it in a gritty, Southeast Asian-inspired war zone. Instead of shiny sci-fi robots, you're piloting heavy dieselpunk mechs through jungles, villages, muddy fields, and old military outposts. Outside combat, there's plenty of customization. You tweak your mech's balance armor and mobility, and choose the right loadout for the job. These small decisions matter once you're back in the field.
The order was clear. The land belonged to the UOC, and we had to get it back.
Mirari & Co. just announced Dark Light Survivor, a new roguelike survival action game set in the Dark Light universe. In this game, a darkness called the Dark Void has wiped out most of humanity and filled every world with terrifying creatures. But there's a legend about a place called Elysium, a world that the darkness can't touch. To reach it, the survivors built something called the Phantom Train, a machine that can jump between universes. You play as a Dark Hunter riding this train, collecting energy in every universe so the train can keep moving forward. Each stop gets harder, the enemies get stronger, and Elysium always feels just out of reach. The game has some cool features. You can switch between a top-down view and a closed third-person view whenever you want. The graphics look cinematic, but you can also change to a retro pixel style. Shark Dentist is one of the strangest and funniest horror roguelike ideas I've seen in a while. The game mixes two common fears: sharks and going to the dentist. And yes, you actually play as a dentist working on a barely sedated shark. The trailer might look silly, but it actually shows some pretty intense horror moments. You play as a very unlucky veterinarian who has to fix the teeth of dangerous sea creatures. Your job is to find what's wrong with the shark's teeth and fix it carefully. If you mess up, the shark wakes up and you die instantly. To survive, you must watch the shark's heart rate, pain level, and anesthesia. You also have a bunch of tools, from normal dental tools to things like a circular saw. Using the wrong tool or bad timing leads to a very fast and bloody end.
Where danger wears a mushroom cap.
There are a ton of roguelike deck builders out there. Seriously, the genre is packed. So when one of them does something different, I pay attention. And Shroom and Gloom definitely grabs your attention. Shroom and Gloom is a first-person roguelike deck builder where you explore a strange dungeon full of mushrooms, creatures, and things you probably shouldn't lick. And yes, licking is an actual mechanic. The game puts you directly into the dungeon in first person. You hold the cards in your hands, you walk around the dungeon, you check your map, and you move through hand-drawn, creepy tunnels. It feels like a mix of a deck builder and a trippy first-person adventure. The art style is a mix of hand-drawn 2D and a detailed 3D world. It's strange, colorful, and honestly beautiful in a very weird way.
Every decision matters. Every card could be the difference between victory.
The Warhammer version of Vampire Survivors is officially coming, and it looks wild. Yeah. This is basically Vampire Survivors, but set in the Warhammer universes. The game mixes that classic Survive the Swarm gameplay with Warhammer's grim and dark worlds. Instead of vampires, you'll be fighting huge waves of Tyranids from Warhammer 40k and hordes of Skaven from Age of Sigmar. The trailer also shows some of the playable characters. On the 40k side, you've got Malum Cato from Boltgun, Acadian Shock Trooper, and a Space Marine intercessor named Brother Luca. If you're more into Age of Sigmar, you can take on the role of Neve Blacktalon, Gotrek Gurnason, or the Stormcast Eternal Vanquisher, Sharon Azarath. More characters will be revealed later, but the game already promises multiple modes, multiple maps, and tons of iconic Warhammer weapons. Wanderlost is a survival roguelite game where you gather, farm, fish, craft, build, trap, fortify, explore, and loot your way through a post-apocalyptic world filled with zombies and dangerous wildlife. You start with almost nothing, just the clothes on your back, and you're dropped into a harsh wilderness. Your first goal is simple: find food, water, and shelter. But the real challenge is going beyond survival, and eventually building a life that's safe, sustainable, and maybe even powerful. The world in Wanderlost is procedurally generated, which means every run gives you a completely new map. Pick a direction and keep walking. The world goes on forever, with surprises and new dangers everywhere. RACCOIN takes the Balatro idea, but instead of poker cards, you're using a coin pusher machine. Your goal is simple: push as many coins as you can into the pit below. That gives you points and tickets. Points help you pass each round, and tickets are your currency to buy upgrades. Tickets also act like your extra lives, because you can trade them for more basic coins. There's also a spin meter. When you drop enough coins at once, it fills up and triggers bonuses. Sometimes it rains random coins into your tray. Sometimes it builds a huge tower of coins that you can knock over for a big score. You also get chips, which are like jokers from Balatro or relics from Slay the Spire. Tenjutsu is a fast and stylish martial arts roguelite from Sebastian Bernard, the lead designer of Dead Cells. He's now working solo under Deep Night Games, and this is his next big project. The game is basically a rogue jutsu game, quick, smooth, and full of hand-to-hand combat. You play as a former Yakuza member who's trying to break free from the criminal world and take back a place called Secret Garden City. To do that, you need to fight 4 major crime syndicates. The combat is all about fast movement, powerful hits, and building your own fighting style. You can unlock new weapons, upgrades, and martial arts techniques to create fun combos and handle tougher enemies. SealChain Call of Blood is an isometric action roguelike where almost everything you pick up can connect, combine, and explode into crazy chain reactions. The items here don't just sit in your inventory. You can link them together, enchant them, or place them in special shapes to create powerful seals that give you bonus effects. You can pick from different characters, each with their own skills and playstyle. As you explore, random events will give you new items and choices that shape every run in a different way. On top of all that, the game is filled with gear, monsters, rewards, and NPCs who can give you helpful bonuses. Never Grave the Witch and the Curse is a 2D Metroidvania roguelite where you explore, fight, and even build your own base. Each run sends you into procedurally generated dungeons that change every time you enter. You'll deal with traps, puzzles, and enemies while learning attack patterns, using magic, and taking advantage of the environment around you. One of the coolest features is the possession system. Your cursed hat can actually take over enemies, letting you use their abilities for combat or movement. It keeps every run fresh and gives you tons of ways to play. The game also supports up to 4-player co-op, so you and your friends can tackle the shifting dungeons together on any platform. Edmund McMillan, the creator of Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac, says Mewgenics is his best game yet. Mewgenics is a wild mix of cat breeding, turn-based combat, and roguelike strategy. It's weird, funny, messy, and way deeper than it looks. The core of Mewgenics is simple. You breed cats, send them on adventures, and deal with all the chaos that happens along the way. But the moment you start playing, you realize how much is going on under the hood. Every cat has traits, abilities, and weird conditions that can totally change how a fight plays out. Some of it is intentional, and some of it is just unexpected interactions the devs decided to keep because they're funny. Each run is full of random encounters and grid-based combat where your cats fight rats, bugs, rival cats, and all kinds of weird enemies. It feels a bit like Darkest Dungeon or XCOM, but with its own wild twist.
Proud and braver, gather to reclaim.
Tears of Metal is a stylish hack-and-slash roguelike where you play as a proud Scottish warrior fighting to take back your homeland. The story follows you and your fellow warriors as you charge through massive enemy armies, slice through waves of invaders, and uncover the mystery behind something called the Dragon Meteor. In terms of gameplay, it's all about fast, skill-based combat. You fight in third person, striking, blocking, parrying, and timing your moves to survive big groups of enemies. And you're not fighting alone. The game supports co-op, so you can team up with friends and take on the battlefield together. Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core is the new standalone roguelite spin-off from Ghost Ship Games. If you love the original Deep Rock Galactic, this one keeps the same charm, the same destructible caves, but adds a fresh roguelite twist. Rogue Core actually started as a Deep Rock Galactic expansion, but the team realized the idea was too big and needed its own game. Don't worry though, the original Deep Rock Galactic isn't being abandoned. New seasons are still coming, and it will even connect to Rogue Core's story. Unfortunately, the game's development took longer than expected. Because of that, Rogue Core is now pushed back to the second quarter of 2026. Have you ever watched the Killer Bean movie on YouTube? Millions of people have. It's famous for its crazy action scenes, wild gunfights, and yes, beans with guns. And now, surprisingly, Killer Bean is getting an official PC game. The game is simply called Killer Bean, and it's a mix of third-person shooter, first-person shooter, and even a roguelike. Every time you start a new campaign, the world changes. The missions, the bosses, the characters, and even the story. Someone who helps you in one run might become your enemy in the next. And honestly, the gameplay trailer looks way better than you'd expect. You see Killer Bean flipping through the air, sliding across the floor, dodging bullets, dual-wielding guns, and even going into slow motion like Max Payne. The first-person dives look insane. Enter the Gungeon 2 is back, and it takes the classic twin-stick shooting and roguelike action from the first game and brings it into full 3D. The combat is fast, chaotic, and all about dodging bullets while pushing forward. Just like the original, you'll collect tons of random weapons and items that can stack together in fun and unexpected ways. Going 3D also means more vertical movement and new physics tricks, like kicking enemies off ledges or pushing them into hazards. Weapon variety is still a huge highlight, filled with weird, funny, and creative guns the series is known for. You can also pick from returning characters and brand new Gungeoneers, each with their own gear or passive abilities. Slay the Spire 2 is officially on the way, and it's coming in early 2026. The king of roguelike deck builders is finally returning, and if you loved the first game, get ready to lose even more free time. Ironclad and Silent are back, and the reveal trailer introduced a new playable character, the Necrobinder, a floating skeleton mage who fights with her ghostly left hand, Osti. She starts with lower health than any previous character, but makes up for it with new mechanics like Doom and Souls. The devs haven't revealed the full character lineup yet, and they specifically said full early access lineup, which hints that more characters may come later. That's all for today's list. Subscribe and like for more exciting new roguelike and roguelite games. That's it, and see you next time.